everyone, I'm Joanna Maitabayoyong and welcome to my channel. So, first of all guys, the content of this vlog is I'm going to discuss the distinguishing and constructing the various paper and pencil tests. So, if you're interested guys, just keep on watching. So, it's me again, guys. So, like what I said earlier, the topic that I will discuss is the distinguishing and constructing various paper and pencil tests. So, we have four, guys, which is the planning a test and construction of TOS. We have types of paper and pencil tests, constructing selected response type. And also the last is the constructing supply type of constructed response type. But at this video log, I will discuss the types of paper and pencil tests. Also the constructing supply type of constructed response type. So let's proceed. First guys is the types of paper and pencil tests. So paper and pencil tests refer to a general group of assessment tools in which candidates read questions and respond in writing. So this paper and pencil test includes tests such as knowledge and ability tests in inventories such as personality and interest in inventories. So paper and pencil tests can be used to assess subject or course, job-related knowledge, and ability or skill qualifications. So because many candidates can be assessed at the same time with a paper and pencil test such as are the inefficient method of assessment. The developing paper and pencil test. So we have four basic steps, guys. So number one is the listing topic area. So for each knowledge area that will be assessed by the test, list the topic area to be covered. Check off any criteria topic areas that are particularly important to the course or subject. So for example guys, the topic areas that will be converted for us to pass this course include psychological tests, psychometrics, test constructions, test standardizations, psychological, construct, and their measurements and applications to computer programming. So the number two basic steps is the specifying the response format, number of questions, the limit or the time limit, and difficulty level. So the priority of writing the questions for your test is you should decide on such things as the response format, the number of questions, the time limit, and the difficulty level. So what type of response format should I choose? So the three most common response formats are the multiple choice, short answer, and last is the essay. So letter A guys is multiple choice. With a multiple choice response format, a large number of different topic areas can be covered within the same test. The questions are easily to score. However, because all potential answers must be chosen by some students, it is time-consuming to write good questions. So next, letter B, short answer. With a short answer response format, a large number of different topic areas can be covered within the same test, and these questions are easy to score. In addition, less time is required to write these questions compared to multiple choice ones. And the letter C is the essay. With the essay response format, only a few topic areas can be covered due to the amount of time it takes to answer questions. However, the content can be covered in a greater detail. Essay questions required little time to write, but they are very time consuming to score. So next, the number 3 basics step is the writing the questions and developing the scoring guide. So all questions should tap meaningful information. Also, the level of language used for the question should be appropriate for the students to understand or to fully understand. The questions do not have to always be expressed verbally. Diagrams, graphs, or tables may be incorporated into a question where useful. When you are writing each question, you should prepare the answers, designate the mask to be allotted to each item, and decide on the rules for scoring. This ensures there is a clear-cut answer for each question. It is also allows you to indicate the value of each question so that candidates can decide for themselves the amount of time they should spend on question. They, they mark assigned to each question um, should reflect the importance of question. So in multiple choice, the scoring guide for multiple choice question must include a scoring key indicating the correct answer. And it may also include a rationale for explanation of the correct answer. If marks are to be deducted um, for guessing this, must be determined and stated the instructions to students. In short answer, the scoring guide for short answer questions, you should include predetermined scoring procedures and mark allocations. Um, each required point in, in the answer should be listed with its relative mark allocation. In essay, the scoring guide for essay question should include predetermined scoring, procedures, and mark allocations. The major point of the answer should be listed with their relative mark allocation. If marks are deducted for incorrect grammar, spelling, and punctuation, this must be stated in the instruction to students. The scoring guide for for short answer, the essay question um, should be choose enough to that scores are can judge whether or not marks should be given to a variation of the answers or answer. So the last basic step in paper and pencil test is the reviewing questions and scoring guide. Have the questions and scoring guide reviewed by senior college or any other teacher familiar with the course or subject. Have them confirm that the questions are answerable and not too difficult or not too easy, and that it conforms to the course outline provided at the beginning of the program. Also, have them make necessary grammatic corrections, and edit any ambiguous, inappropriate, or misleading content. The reviewer should also assess at the appropriateness of the time limit and difficulty level of questions. You could as well not or have them make the test in testing conditions. You should only include in the final version of the paper and pencil test those questions that your reviewers endorse. So we have advantages and disadvantages of paper and pencil tests. So the advantages of paper and pencil tests, a large number of different topic areas can be covered within the same test. So next, the questions are easy to score. Paper and pencil are easily portable and can be used in any setting. So next, it is manual in nature. You don't need electricity or batteries to use paper and pencil. So next, you don't need any computer skills to write a paper pencil test. The only skill needed is reading and writing skills. So last, it is very flexible and cheap to set up. So the disadvantages of paper and pencil tests, it is time consuming to write good questions. Next, it takes time to evaluate. Third, there is high chances of malpractice in this type of test. So last, there is possible human error in the grading system. If we have a paper and pencil test, we have also a computer-based test or CTB. A computer-based test, also known as computer-based assessment or e-exam, computerized testing. And computer administrated testing is a method of administrating tests in which the responses are electronically recorded, assessed, or both. As the name implies, computer-based assessment makes use of a computer or an equivalent electronic device. Computer-based assessment enables educators and trainers to author, schedule, deliver, and report on surveys, quizzes, tests, and exams. Since the early 20s, much has occurred in computer-based tests. CTB seems to have advantages over paper and pencil testing, both for states that run the assessment programs and for the students who participate in them. There currently is strong in interest in CTB, and advocates have identified many positive merits of this approach to assessment, including efficient administration, student preference, self-selection, option for students, improve writing performance, built-in accommodations, immediate results, efficient item development, increase authenticity, and potential to shift focus to instruction. Computer-based tests also allow new ways of assessing students that move beyond the traditional multiple choice and constructed response item. For example, innovative assessments are now being developed that enable students to manipulate data and role play. Yet, as students or as states move forward with computer-based tests, they are discovering that it is important to consider not only or not only the positive benefits but also potential negative unintended consequences. Despite the very dramatic increase in attention to computer-based tests, accessibility challenge continue to have the potential to reduce the validity of the assessment results and to exclude some groups of students from assessment participation. In the early years of computer-based tests, many very basic issues baffled testing companies and states as they sought to transfer paper and pencil tests onto a computer-based platform. So we have here the advantages and disadvantages of computer-based tests for students. So first, it gives you instant feedback. Unlike paper examinations in traditional classroom learning session. So next, it gives you the option of taking practice tests whenever you want as some assessments are internet-based and this allows students to take the test at home or anywhere they want. So here are the disadvantages of computer-based tests for students. So first, not all students can use the computer very well. So second, it doesn't give teachers the options to see your line of thinking to get your answer. So here's the comparison between computer-based tests and paper pencil tests. So first is validity. Both computer-based tests and paper pencil tests can be classified as valid if they both measure what they are set out to measure. For example, in an aptitude test for a job, both CBT and PPT can be used to measure a test taker's potentials for learning and ability to perform in a new job or situation. So number 2, reliability. Both computer-based tests and paper pencil tests can be classified as being reliable. Number 3, topic area. Both computer-based tests and paper pencil tests focus on a specific topic area and tasks to cover. Number 4. Both computer-based tests and paper pencil tests could be in multiple choice format or short answer format. So here's the difference between computer-based tests and paper pencil tests. So first, paper pencil test instruments refers to a general group of assessment tools in which candidates read questions and respond in writing, while computer-based tests, computer administered testing is a method of administering tests in which responses are electronically recorded, assessed, or both. So number 2, paper and pencil test is very easy and flexible. It can be conducted in any situation, while computer-based tests are very expensive to set up and cannot be used in every situation. So number 3, paper pencil test requires only the skills of reading and writing skills to prepare a paper pencil test, while computer based tests, aside from reading and writing skills, the teacher and students needs computer skills to be able to use the computer based test. So number 4, paper pencil test is it is prone to human grading error, while computer-based tests it eliminates human grading errors. So number 5, paper and pencil test it takes time to evaluate
the paper pencil test. While computer-based tests, it saves time to evaluate test scores. So next, number 6, paper pencil test. It takes time before the students know the outcome of the test. While computer-based test, it gives instant feedback immediately after the test. So next, number 7, paper pencil test. It is highly prone to exam malpractice. While computer-based test, it is less prone to exam malpractice. So next, number 8, paper and pencil test is very suitable for essay writing and analysis or cognitive thinking testing. While computer-based testing online is not suitable for essay writing and analysis or cognitive thinking testing.
Okay, guys, so let's move on to the types of paper and pencil tests. So let's proceed to the constructing supply type of constructed response type. So the constructed response test or supply type test. So number one, the objective supply type test, the completion and short answer. The item types falling under this format require learners to construct a response to a question or directive. The subtype, however, differ in terms of the structure of the response needed to answer the item. So we have two variants, the completion type, which is also known as gap filing, and short answer type. So first, guys, is the letter A completion type or the gap filing. So the item structure in this type of test consists of a stimulus that defines the question or problem with a response that defines what is to be provided or constructed by the learner. It is an incomplete statement with a blank, often used as a stimulus, and the response is a constructed word, symbol, numeral, or phrase to complete the statement. So, fill in the blank and close tests fall in this format. So, fill in the blank test. This is a test format where students given a statement with a blank and are given to fill in the most appropriate answer possible. It requires mostly our remembering level of Bloom's taxonomy, and if well designed, a question can test higher order thinking. So see the table number 1.
So this test consists of a stem and a blank where the students would write the correct answer. In this type of test, it is suggested that the blank in this format should not be more than 2. So, this is the advantages and disadvantages of fill in the blank test. So, the advantages of filling the blank allow for a wide sampling of content, minimizes the chance of students guessing the answer, requires the students to think about the correct possible answer, as opposed to choosing from the multiple possible answers. So the disadvantages usually recall knowledge-based questions. Making questions can become time-consuming as there could be multiple unique answers, which are all potentially correct. So next, difficulty to create a fill-in-the-blank question that can only result in one answer, unless there are relevant clues. Next, providing an answer key for students to choose from can help eliminate the multiple answer possibility, but limits the thinking process of answering the question.
Okay, so here's the guidelines in the construction of completion tense. So, number one, there should only be one correct response to complete the statement. So, this contributes to efficiency in scoring since a key to correction can easily be prepared in advance. When there is only one expected response, paper wording of the complete statement must be carefully done to avoid having more than one correct answer. An exception to this rule is if you are testing for verbal creativity, um, where giving diverse but acceptable responses is desirable. Okay, so number two, the blank should be placed at the end or toward the end of incomplete statement. So this will be provide the reader with the appropriate and adequate context before he or she gets to answer the blank and consequently avoid being perplexed. Okay, so next, number three, avoid providing unintended clues to the correct answer. So the validity of a student score is jeopardized when he or she answers correctly an item without really knowing what the correct response is. His or her score may present a different kind of ability apart from what is intended to be measured. This happens when a student who doesn't know the answer could find the one or by using unintended grammatical clues, presents or presence of indefinite articles, a or an, um, before the blank to suggest a response what starts with vowels. So next, the closed test. This format of test allows the student to fill several gaps, generally more than two blanks, in a discourse depending on the learning outcome. It is also called the closed deletion test. This format is an exercise test or assessment consisting of a portion of text with certain words removed where the teacher asks the participant to restore the missing words. Language teacher often utilize this format for integrative testing where more than one type of skills are needed to fill in the gaps. So see the table number 2.
Closed tests require students to understand context and vocabulary to identify the correct words that belong in the deleted passages of a text.
So letter B in the supply type test is a short answer test. So short answer questions are open-ended questions that require students to create an answer instead of supplying words to complete the statements. Relatively short answers are constructed as direct answer to questions. So this format is commonly used in examinations to access the basic knowledge and understanding of a topic before more in-depth assessment questions are asked on the topic. So short answer questions do not have a generic structure questions. May required answers such as complete the sentence, supply the missing word, short descriptive or qualitative answer. Diagrams are explanations and etc.
Sample short answer test. The answer is usually short, from one word to a few lines. Often, students may answer in bullet form. Item statement in this format is generally in the interrogative form. So, here's the guidelines in constructing a good short answer question. So, first, state the item so that only one answer is correct. So, number two, state the item so that the required answer is brief. Requiring a long response would not be within the allotted period of time. Number three, do not use questions verbatim from textbooks and other instructional materials. This will give undue disadvantages to students not familiar with the materials since it can become a memory test instead of completion. Designate units required for the answer. This frequently occurs when the constructed response requires a definite unit to be considered correct. Without designating the unit, a response um, may be rendered wrong because of a differing mindset. Number 5. State the item succinctly with words students understand. This is true for all types of tests. The validity of a classroom-based test is at risk when students cannot answer correctly, not because they do not know, but could be due to the wording of the question. Number 6. Design short answer items which are the appropriate assessment of the learning objective. Number 7. Make sure the content of short answer question measures knowledge appropriate to the desired learning goal. Number 8. Express the questions with clear wordings and language which are appropriate to the student population. Number 9. Ensure that the item clearly specifies how the questions should be answered. Number 10. Write the instructions clearly so as the specify and desire knowledge and specificity of response. So number 11, set the questions explicitly and precisely. Number 12, direct questions are better than those which required completing the sentence. Number 13, for numerical answers, let the students know if they will receive marks for showing partial work or only result. Also indicate the importance of the units. Number 14, let the students know what your making style is like. Is bullet point format acceptable? Or does it have to be an essay format? So number 15, prepare a structured marking sheet. Allocate marks or part marks for an acceptable answer or answers. Number 16, be prepared to accept other equally acceptable answers, some of which you may not have predicted. So here's the advantages and disadvantages of short answer tests. So first is the advantages. Number 1, relatively fast to mark and can be marked by different assessors as long as the questions are set in such as a way that all alternative answers can be considered by the assessors. Next, relatively essay to set compared to many assessment methods. Number 3, can be used as part of a formative and summative assessment, as the structure of short answer questions are very similar to examination questions. Students are more familiar with the practice and feel less anxious. So next, unlike multiple choice questions, there is no guessing on answers. Students must supply an answer. So the disadvantages of short answer tests only suitable for questions that can be answered with short responses. It is very important that the assessor is very clear on the type of answers expected when setting is question because short answer question is an open-ended question. Students are free to answer any way that they choose. So short answer question can lead to difficulties in grading if the question is not worded carefully. So next, typically used for assessing knowledge, only students may often memorize short answer questions with rote learning. If assessors wish to use short answer questions to assess deeper learning, careful attention on appropriate questions are required. So next, accuracy of assessment may be influenced by handwriting or spelling skills.
So next in the constructive supply type of constructed response type is the non-objective supply type test or the SA. This is a free response test question unlike the completion and short answer items which are highly structured to elicit elicit only one correct answer. Essay items are less structured to allow the students to organize freely their response using their own writing style to answer the question. Um, if allow measuring students' abilities to organize, integrate, and synthesize his knowledge to use the information to solve problems and to be original or innovate in his approach to problem solve situation. So this can be a composition test of a definite illustration test. This format therefore is appropriate for testing deep understanding and reasoning. Some of the thinking processes involved in answering essay questions are comparison, induction, deduction, abstracting, analyzing, perspective, decision making, problem solving, and constructing support and experimental inquiry. So they actually involve higher order thinking skills.
So we have 14 types of abilities that can be measured by items. So first, comparison between two or more things. Number two, the development and depends of an option. Number three, questions of course, cause and effect. Number four, explanation of meanings. Number five, summarizing of information in a designed area. Number six, analysis. Number seven, knowledge of relationship. Number eight, illustrations of rules, principles, procedures, and applications. Number nine, applications of rules, laws, and principles to new situations. So number 10, criticisms of the adequacy, relevance, or correctness of a concept, idea, or information. Number 11, formulation of new questions and problems. Number 12, reorganization of facts. Number 13, discrimination between objects, concepts, or events. And last, number 14, inferential thinking.
So we have a types of essay, which is the restricted response and extended response. Okay, so first guys is the restricted response. So question usually limits both content and the response. So the content is usually restricted by the scope of the topic to be discussed. Limitation on the form of response are generally indicated in the question. Another way of restricting responses in essay tests is to base the questions to specific problems. So here's the example. Write the life sketch of Mahatma Gandhi in 100 words and state any five definitions of education. So next is the extended response. Extended response has no restriction is placed in students. Has as to a point he will discuss and the type of organization he will use. So teacher in such a way so as to give students the maximum possible freedom to determine the nature and scope of the question. And in a way, or he would give a response of course, being related topic and in the stipulated time frame to this type of questions. So here's the examples. Global warming is the next key to disaster. Explain. Next, do children need to go to school? Support your answer.
So here's the guidelines in constructing an essay test. So first, restrict the use of essay questions to those learning outcomes that cannot be measured satisfactorily by objective items. So objective items cannot measure such important skills as the ability to organize, integrate, and synthesize ideas, showing one's creativity in writing style. The use of essay format encourages and challenges students to indulge in high order thinking skills instead of simply dull memorization of facts and of remembering inconsequential details. So, number two, construct questions that will call forth the skills specified in the learning standards. So, a review of learning standards in school curricula will show that they range of knowledge to deep understanding. The performance standards require the learners to demonstrate the experimental findings, evaluation of results, and creation of new knowledge, and these are explicitly stated in terms of the expected outcomes at every grade level. This essay question to be constructed then should make the students model how they are to perform the thinking process. Number three, phrase the question so that the student's task is clearly defined. Restricted response type of essay questions especially states the specific task of to be done in writing. As much as possible, the students should interpret the question in the same way, according to the teacher expects through the specification in the question. Number 4. Indicate an approximate time limit for each question. This should be especially considered when the test is a combination of objective and non-objective format, like the inclusion of essay questions. Knowing how much time is allotted to each one will make the students budget their time so they do not spend their time on the first question and consequently missing out on the others. Number 5, avoid the use of optimal question. Some teachers have the practice of allowing the students to select one or two essay questions from a set of 5 questions. Some disadvantages of this practice may include not being able to use the same basis for reporting test results, or students being able to prepare through memorization for those they will likely choose. Number 6, plan what mental process are to be tested before writing the test. Number 7. Use essay questions to test the student's ability to organize information. Number 8. Use keywords to phrase your essay questions. Example, compare, explain, and predict. Number 9. Focus your essay question on only one issue at time. Number 10. Inform the test taker that question will be graded on the strength of their evidence, presentation, and organization of thoughts on an issues and not on the basis of the position taken on an issue.